Hello everyone, I'm Winnie and welcome to my talk show. So, in my talk show today, I am going to talk about the effects of COVID-19 pandemic in education. And now, I'm going to call out my experts. But before I call them out, I want to tell you the video when they introduce themselves and check it out.
Hi everyone, I'm Lim Jabin and this week I'm invited to attend a V talk show. In this talk show, I'm playing a role as teacher, so you can just call me Miss Lim. I'll share my opinion about the effect of COVID-19 pandemic in education. But I'm not alone because I'm going with Sipei. So this is Sipei.
Hi, I am Dan Sipei. I am playing a role as a student in this talk show. You all can call me Sipei, and I have the same purpose as Jabin. So see you guys in the talk show. Bye!
Welcome, Miss Lim and Sipei. Okay, please take your seat. So, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks for asking.
How about you, Sipei?
Not bad. I'm excited to be here.
That's great. I think I'm not good as you.
Affected so many aspects of our life, including education. Tonight, ABC's Ariel Reshef is taking a look at how far kids are falling behind in school.
Continent. Say it fast.
Chrissy France has been a teacher for 17 years at Emma Donan Elementary and Middle School in Indianapolis.
Say, you go, girl.
You go, girl. Her concentration is on the building blocks of literacy, and France says she's noticed for many, foundational reading skills are behind.
I've noticed a big impact on my scholars as a result of the pandemic. Scholars who are learning from home, learning all these sounds and learning all these concepts, but with a mask over our faces.
A December 2021 report showed middle school children nationwide were scoring about 9 to 11 percentile points lower in math and 3 to 7 percentile points lower in reading compared to historic averages. In fact, research comparing testing numbers from 2019 to 2021 found that more than 1 in 3 children in kindergarten through 3rd grade are considered far behind in reading, requiring intensive intervention to achieve performance at their grade level. France says that's reflected in many of her 3rd grade students.
We still have scholars who are still sounding out very first grade level words. We are seeing scholars who are sometimes behind half a grade level, a whole grade level.
Dr. Karen Lewis is a senior research scientist who has conducted multiple studies on the pandemic's effect on education.
What we're seeing now at the start of the 21-22 school year is that achievement in both reading and math is lower than historic averages.
And experts say students of color and students in high poverty areas have been impacted the most.
The achievement gaps that already existed before the pandemic have only been dramatically exacerbated over the 2 years. We need to be leaning in really hard to make sure we do everything possible to provide supports to those students.
There's plenty of other kids who, in the first lunch.
In Washington, D.C., Cassandra Gentry is raising her 11-year-old granddaughter, Jada, and says she has seen her reading fall behind grade level.
She was about to go into the 4th grade when all of this happened. Now she's on her way to middle school, and we're still playing catch up.
Now her grandmother, who happens to be a reading tutor, is focused on helping her gain the ground and confidence she lost with supplemental learning.
I'm just trying to get her to know that once she reads, She can get so much knowledge from reading, and it makes you feel so much better about yourself.
Back in Indiana, Fran says being in person and free after-school programs are already helping kids catch up.
Get ready. This next syllable is?
But experts say it could take years to get back on track.
One bright spot or a piece of good news is we already know that students who are lowest achieving also tend to grow at the fastest rates over the course of the year.
Okay, let's back. So now I'm going to ask both of you about the effects of pandemic COVID-19 in education. As we know, in recent years, the global outbreak of the COVID-19 has spread worldwide, affecting almost all countries and territories. The pandemic not only broke the rules in our daily life, but also created a large disruption in different fields, especially in education system. But don't worry, this is going to be a light-hearted and positive conversation, exploring how students and teachers adapted and the surprising silver linings. First, I would like to know your first thought about this pandemic.
I was in shock. I have never done anything like this before. Try to imagine the first minute we were in the classroom and the next we were figuring out how to deliver lessons through a screen. I felt overwhelmed at first, but as teacher, we do need to adapt quickly. But then it sank in, and my first thought was, the kids, how would they handle it? I had a mixture of worry and determination, like, okay, I have to keep them calm and carry on. But inside, I was feeling the pressure too. This is a big challenge for both teachers and students.
Oh, that's true. If I were you, my first worry would be the kids too. It's a pity for them to change a new learning environment in a short period of time. So, Sipei, what is your first reaction when this unexpected pandemic breaks into your life?
At first, I thought, no school? Wow! But then I realized I actually miss my friends and teachers. Let's say online learning lets me organize my time better. I could work at my own pace, and I even found new hobbies at home with extra time. I learned how to cook at home, and I even how to bake. I have brought some cookies for you all to try, and I made it myself. And I just hope they are more delicious than kitchen disaster.
Okay, let's try it later. Thanks, Sipei.
At first, I thought, no school? Wow!
Well, let's get into it. During the pandemic of COVID-19, school had to close, students stayed home, and learning was disrupted. So, online classes has become part and parcel of our lives. Miss Lim, as a teacher, do you find yourself becoming more proficient in technology?
Definitely yes. At that time, all the school had a lockdown, and that is my first time being in touch in online classes. E-learning tools like Zoom, Google Classroom, and virtual libraries become essential. So I need to learn a lot of digital skills to proceed with my online classes successfully. The most familiar platform that I use is Google Classroom. This is a very useful platform where I can share notes and outlook tasks for my students and set a deadline for the homework. It's convenient for me to check who was not handing in homework on time. During the online classes, I need to present my material or notes on different platforms such as PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, because there is no whiteboard for me to use anymore. So I had to search for tutorial videos to learn about how to present my work effectively.
It's amazing how much teachers had to become tech wizards. And what about you, Sipei? Do you think e-learning helps students in academics?
I don't think so. This is because it was going a big challenge for some students and teachers that are not familiar with technology, especially those who live in rural areas. I really remember that my friends who live in the rural areas often face line problems during the online classes. Hence, she faces a bit difficult in following the lesson. She often misses the important points and notes in the lesson and causes a big influence in her overall learning progress. Worse still, she was born into a small and poor family, so she can only share a computer with her brother. Thus, when her and her brother have online classes at the same time, she always sacrifices herself and gives the opportunity to her brother to join the online class.
Oh, but that's so sad to hear. It seems like e-learning is not really suitable for all the students. In my book, e-learning wasn't easy, but this issue being highlighted means they are being addressed. Well, let's move on to the next question. Now, we can talk about pandemic learning without mentioning the creative ways teachers keep students engaged. I heard of teachers turning to TikTok, gaming platforms, and even sending podcasts to keep in touch. Miss Lim, do you have any fun tricks up your sleeve?
Definitely. As a teacher, we often use creative tools to make the class more engaging and attractive. For example, I use pictographs to choose the lucky dog in the class and to answer my questions. I think this will be the most effective ways to help the student to be more concentrated during the lessons. Through this method, the student can interact more with teachers instead of just sitting in front of the screen and listening only. It's too boring if I just teach using the chalk and talk method. In this case, students will only listen to me. Some of them even sleep in front of the screen. This makes me feel like I'm talking and explaining to myself.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I think a lot of students learn about themselves in ways they never expected. And Sipei, from a broader perspective, do you think innovation in teaching methods brings positive impacts to you during this pandemic?
Oh, definitely. As a teacher, we often use creative tools to make the class more engaging and
Well, from my perspective, the COVID-19 pandemic brought many teachers to innovate their teaching methods. I think most of the students find it hard to focus during the online class. So, the creativity of teachers to lighten up the class is important. Let me give an example. During the pandemic, my teachers use either Google Meet or Zoom to conduct the class. We often use breakout rooms for group work. It is a good way for students who are introverted to be involved in a small discussion. I will not feel bored when I having a discussion with my friends in a small group. Engaging in small groups discussion help us develop essential skills such as teamwork, communication, and critical thinking, which are valuable in both academic and real-world settings.
That's exactly what I think too. I often use creative technique to make my lesson more interesting. For example, I like to use platforms such as Quizy, WordWall, Kahoot to make the lessons more enjoyable and fun. To me, this technique is very useful because my students can keep in mind the wrong questions that they did before. More interestingly, this platform involves ranking. Through the ranking, I can know their learning level and make the more suitable learning plan for them so that they can better understand the lessons.
That's brilliant! It's incredible how people got creative and adapted to keep things interesting. Okay, now let's get back to our topic. Miss Lim, what surprised you most about online teaching and what positive changes have you seen?
For me, I noticed that my students are becoming more independent and responsible for their own learning. They have flexible schedule via online learning as they don't need to waste their time waiting for transport or even struggling in traffic congestion. This not only allows them to have more time to rest but also gives them a chance to discover new hobbies due to the time saved from commuting.
I see eye to eye with you. It is true that online learning can save our time and energy. I, as a mother of a child, also think online learning brings a lot of convenience to us, especially since we don't need to struggle in traffic jams for a long time to send our child to school. However, there are always two sides to everything. So, Sipei, can you share some of the biggest challenges you face with online learning?
Absolutely. One major issue for me has been connectivity. There have been times when my Wi-Fi just drops and I miss important parts of the lesson.
That sounds frustrating. How do you deal with that?
I try to stay in touch with my teachers and classmates, but it can be tough to catch up afterward. I truly miss the time that I can just turn to the next person to meet and ask a question or study together in a group.
Oh, it seems like Sipei prefers physical class more than online class. Well, Miss Lim, how do you deal with this problem during your online class?
Actually, I will keep a video record when I conduct my online classes to help my students who are facing these kinds of problems or cannot enter my classes. This is a useful way to make sure all my students can follow the lessons. They can also record the lessons by watching the video recordings anytime and anywhere.
What a fantastic idea! Through this way, students can also learn effectively and without face-to-face meetings. Let us.
Pardon me? May I cut in?
Sure, Sipei. What are you going to share?
Can I drink some water?
Sure.
Moments later, more moments later.
Okay, now let's jump to the next question. I remember during the peak of the pandemic, the issue about delayed assessment and graduation has become a hot topic across social media. This not only affects the students who are going to graduate in university, but also in primary and secondary school. So, Sipei, how did the delay in assessment impact your learning experience?
It was definitely roller coaster. At first, I thought, great, more time to prepare. But as weeks turned into months, it became clear that the uncertainty was really stressful. It felt like I was always in limbo, which made it hard to focus on my studies.
I can imagine. Did you find the quality of your learning change during this time?
Absolutely. With the online classes, some topics didn't resonate as well. It is harder to engage with material when you are staring at a screen. I found myself missing the discussion and group projects that really helped me solidify my understanding. During the online examination, some of my friends even opened their books and copied the answer directly, although their cameras were turned on. I feel it very unfair to the students that prepare the exam seriously. This makes me feel unmotivated to prepare my exam.
That's true. How about Miss Lim? Do you think it's suitable for students to take examinations online?
I can't accept that. Examination online will make students have the idea for cheating because they will think teachers can't notice they are doing. Exactly, I can't refute this because although their cameras are on, there will also be a blind spot that we can't see. As you know, nowadays the information technology has developed rapidly. There are a lot of platforms that can help them to answer the questions, especially ChatGPT. So we can't look down upon them. They are much better than us at using AI to solve problems in their tasks.
I'm with you on that. Although AI helps us a lot in our life, it may also bring harms to us. So we should use it wisely. If students' study depends on assistance of AI, they might face a big challenge in their future. So, Sipei, do you think the assistance of AI is required in your academics?
To be honest, the assistance of AI really helped me a lot in my learning progress, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic. I often use ChatGPT when writing essay or doing tutorial tasks. ChatGPT allows me to access a wealth of information and resources quickly and easily. Plus, besides ChatGPT, there are also a wide array of interactive platforms that makes learning more engaging through gamification, which can keep me motivated during the boring and dual pandemic.
That's a great point. Artificial intelligence can help us a lot in our life, especially in academics. Miss Lim, what do you think if students finish their homework or assignment with the assistance of AI?
This depends on how students use it. If students just find the answer from the AI and copy and paste, this doesn't help them in their academics because they had learned nothing from this. Otherwise, I will prefer them to get the idea from AI when they really don't know how to do it or checking their homework after doing it with the assistance of AI. Through this action, they can understand their mistake clearly. It's a good for them to improve themselves during the pandemic.
I do agree with your point. Miss Lim, if we use AI wisely, we can get most of the benefits from it. Now, let's move to another question. I heard that many students face mental health challenges during this pandemic. How could it be? Do they feel overstressed? Sipei, have you ever encountered this problem before?
Definitely yes. We went from being in a classroom with friends to learning online. I felt really isolated. This is because I was unable to see my friends or participate in activities that made me feel lonely and disconnected. I can meet many people at school by joining different activities such as sports and clubs. With this on hold or cancelled, I lost important outlets for expression and connection. I realized that I gradually became more introvert and did not like to communicate with others. Worse still, I started feeling anxiety and depression when presenting in front of the class. But now, I'm back to normal again.
That's tough. Luckily, you have overcome this problem. Miss Lim, in your perspective, what is the biggest effect of this COVID-19 pandemic in education?
I think keeping students engaged in a remote or hybrid environment was a significant challenge. I will find it difficult to monitor participations and ensure active learning of students. The absence of physical classroom environment makes it harder for me to foster relationship, social learning, and collaboration among students.
I see. But every problem has a solution. Like I said just now, it's quite a good solution to solve this problem that you encounter in your teaching process during this pandemic. And how about you, Sipei? Do you have the same point as Miss Lim?
Oh yes, but I think that the most difficult thing was the policy changes caused by the pandemic that prompted many educational institutions to consider policy related to attendance, grading, and graduation requirements. This leads to some innovative approaches to student support and flexibility in education. Most of the exams will be cancelled, postponed, or conducted online with various degrees of effectiveness, causing confusion and anxiety among students and including me. As a consequence, many students experience delay in graduating or transitioning to the next level of education, impacting career prospects.
That's true. The cancellation of examination will obviously lower down the level of education of every student as the examination is used to test their grades and understanding of a topic that they have learned before. Miss Lee, what will you conclude about the main topic of our talk show, which is the effect of pandemic COVID-19 in education?
Short, the COVID-19 pandemic drastically changed the educational landscape for teachers. It accelerated the shift toward digital learning, placed immense emotional and physical demands on educators. The highlighted inequalities within the system that continue to require attention even after pandemic.
Definitely yes. How about you, Sipei? What summary can you make for our topics?
Summarize, COVID-19 pandemic really changed our life, and the COVID-19 pandemic has significantly changed education by highlighting gaps in access and resources. It has increased the focus on mental health and pushed for new teaching methods. Moving forward, this lesson can help create more flexible and equitable educational environment for all students.
Well, it has been a fantastic conversation, full of insight and laughs. Thank you so much to Miss Lim and Sipei for joining me today. The pandemic may have changed education, but we have come out of it stronger, more creative, and more connected.
It's my honor to share my humble opinion about the effect of COVID-19 pandemic in education through this talk show. I hope I will be in the next talk show too.
Me too.
I'm happy to share my thoughts about the effects of COVID-19 pandemic in education. I hope my sharing are useful for all and sundry. See you next time.
Oh, thanks for supporting my talk show. I'm grateful that both of you are accepting my invitation to share useful information to the audience. And to all our listeners, remember that even in the toughest times, there is always a silver lining. Stay curious, stay adaptable, and keep learning. Until next time, it's the end of our talk show. Stay safe, everyone, and see you. Bye.